We all love games for their thoughtfulness and attention to detail, but the aspect that interests me the most is what makes the world so down-to-earth and simple. Food. We all love delicious food and can't live a day without it. It's a vital necessity. But have you ever wondered how such a simple thing as food is presented in games and made to look so damn appetizing? You can't take your eyes off it, just look at it. I came up with the idea of creating a video about my top 7 games in which the food looks so delicious that you want to go to the fridge at home and find the same thing after the game session. In short, stock up on food before watching, or you will drool and definitely get hungry. I will start with a game that is probably familiar to every gamer. Ratatouille. When it comes to food, how can we not mention this culinary masterpiece? The game was of course based on the animated film of the same name, and as you know, the whole atmosphere of the film is imbued with love of food. That's not the main focus on the film, but it's hard to deny that the food is incredibly appetizing. There are scenes of cooking in a restaurant with such accents and close-ups of food that you simply cannot remain indifferent. All kinds of desserts, pastas and soups. I'm finding it hard to write the script because I'm getting hungry just describing all this stuff, but let's get back to the game. Does anyone remember playing it on the PSP? I remember playing the disc on my PC, and the most memorable scene in the game for me is still the one with his dream, where Remy wanders through a world made entirely of food and the platforming that had to be completed to reach the end of the level. All of these levels reference a moment in the film Ratatouille where Remy puts different foods in his mouth and admires their taste. It's a legendary scene that everyone who has seen the film remembers. You wanted to try the same thing as him, didn't you? There are several levels like this in the game and each one has a slightly different theme. Some feature lots of cheese, some feature crispy baguettes and some feature all kinds of fruits and vegetables floating in the air. Overall, it's a paradise for gourmets, as well as gamers. As far as I remember, you get some kind of reward after completing them, but that's not important. What's important is that, despite the whole game, I remember these funny levels with food to this day, as they really stayed in my heart. When I got myself more or less average computer, I remember wanting to play something more serious than children's games, which even then could only be run with great difficulty on my old PC. I noted the game Portal, which I had heard a lot about at the time. I saw all kinds of recommendations for it and knew it would be worthwhile. I remember the first puzzles, and when I heard the phrase about the cake...
The Enrichment Center is committed to the well-being of all participants. Cake and grief counseling will be available at the conclusion of the test.
I immediately imagined the cake of my dreams, like something out of a fairy tale. As I progressed through the levels, I wondered from time to time what it would look like. As I made my way through, GLaDOS repeatedly suggested that the cake would be cut without our presence, and eventually revealed her intention to kill us, leaving no cake at all.
The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake. I'm going to kill you. And all the cake is gone.
Of course, everyone who has played the game, and even those who haven't, remembers one phrase perfectly. The cake is a lie. I thought it was a shame that I never found out what it was like. Just when all my fantasies about the cake has crumbled, it appeared at the end. A chocolate cake with candles. For those who are interested, here's an interesting fact. This cake really exists and is called Black Forest. It consists of a chocolate sponge, whipped cream and cherries. If you want, you can buy one or make it yourself using an online recipe and finally try the legendary dessert. On the subject of cooking, I can't help but mention Red Dead Redemption 2. The game has authentic Wild West atmosphere, complete with constant shootouts and wanderings through the wilderness. The icing on the cake is cooking mechanic, which fits seamlessly into the gameplay. Imagine this. You're riding a horse when a flock of turkeys runs past. You hunt them down, take their carcass to camp, and cook yourself a delicious fillet over the fire. The whole experience is aesthetically pleasing, not to mention the practical benefit of holding and roasting a piece of meat over the fire. Different types of meat can give your character various boosts, depending on what you add before cooking. I'm talking about all kinds of herbs in the cooking menu. You can get a temporary health boost and infinite dead eye as a bonus. Just like in real life, all food tastes much better in nature, and the game conveys the feeling of having a huge appetite while eating. As well as cooking meat, you can brew coffee in a mug over the campfire, or cook a whole pot of stew, which the main character will devour with insane pleasure. Just look how delicious it is, ready to eat down to the last drop. In the game you can eat almost anything you can hunt, from fish in the river to hares in the forest. For me, one of the most memorable racing games will always be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with all the fun it offers. In the game, you can create your own character and customize your car before racing onto any track you like. Some of my favorite tracks are Twisted Mansion, Music Park, and most importantly, the reason we are all here, Sweet Sweet Canyon and Cheeseland. Need I say more? When I first started playing Mario Kart 8, I didn't expect much, just a game to play with friends. But I got really hooked and started exploring track after track until I stumbled upon the most appetizing food-themed maps I've ever seen. It's just like my dream at 3 AM when I decided to finally go on a diet and I see a city made of cakes and pastries that tempt me so much to try them. And bro, how can you refuse? Take the Cheeseland map, for example, where the road, ground, rocks, tunnels and walls are all made of cheese. Here, the developers have pleased both sweet and savory lovers, working on two fronts. The main thing is how they manage to pay attention to detail in the maps. In Sweet Sweet Canyon, the windmills have waffles instead of blades, and in places where shortcuts have been placed, you can see a donut covered in chocolate icing. And in the stand, the gingerbread men cheerfully greet you as they wait for you to cross the finish line, which is made of lollipops and caramels. On the cheese map, you are surrounded by the towers made of cheese, and you can even take a shortcut through the hole in it. This is one of the most entertaining food integrations into a game that I can remember. I probably mention Skyrim in every video. But you know what? In my opinion, it's a great example of all kinds of features and atmosphere in games, because it's undoubtedly iconic and has been played by huge numbers of gamers, many of whom had their first experience of such a large open world with vast spaces to explore through this game. But it's also important that all this space is filled with content that conveys the culture of this world. This includes houses, outfits and decorations, and of course food. Almost every house contains at least some food. It could be bread, fruit, or other items. The most appetizing items are the famous sweet roll, cheese head, and smoked leg. Just look at them and try to tell me they don't look delicious. Every Skyrim player will remember walking into a tavern or a castle and seeing these beautiful arrangements on the tables, reminiscent of a still life made of all kinds of fruit. You just had to reach out and stock up on food for the upcoming journey through endless snow-covered valleys. Or the joy of stealing some wonderful aged ale from the bartender's cellar. Do you remember that moment during a battle with enemies when you opened your inventory and slowly began to choose what would you like to eat to replenish your health like a gourmet? These taverns and establishments generally had their own cozy atmosphere, as if the whole world had to wait while you were there. This pleasant backdrop was created by soft warm light from the fireplace or candles, conversations with strangers over a bottle of wine, and an abundance of food. Another game that comes to mind is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In this game, the main character Link explores a vast world where he fights monsters, solves puzzles and searches for small creatures called Koroks. Despite the abundance of activities, there is still room for cool features like cooking. You don't just cook with the push of a button, you actually cook according to recipes, choosing the ingredients for your dish yourself. Unlike in Minecraft, for example, the recipes are not just handed to you in a pop-up window. There, you have to select the ingredients through trial and error, combine them and receive bonuses for the resulting dish. In extreme situations, these bonuses can be extremely helpful. For instance, if you find yourself in a snowy area and need to eat food that will warm you up, such as hot peppers, you can get a 3-4 minutes buff that allows you to walk in the cold without any negative effects. Conversely, in very hot locations you can cool down and calmly explore your surroundings. As well as showing your culinary skills, remember that your dream dish can burn if you don't press the button in time as soon as you see the ingredient change color and add it to your inventory. You can put almost anything you can get your hands on into your food, including fish, meat, frogs and lizards. Once you have combined your chosen ingredients, you will have a restaurant quality dish. Just look how appetizing it looks in Link's inventory. It's a full portion, not just something thrown on your plate to fill you up, but as if a team of chefs had tried to arrange this culinary masterpiece perfectly. Before the last game, I would like to mention another game that is worth mentioning, San Andreas. I won't say much, but I'm sure that anyone who played it dreamed of trying out this enormous order after seeing this scene.
Hey, I'll take a number 9, fat boy.
Give me a number 9, just like his. Let me get a number 6 with extra dip.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
I saved the most recent game in our selection, Monster Hunter Wilds, until last, but I can't help mentioning the previous game in the series, Monster Hunter World, where cooking seems to be the last thing on anyone's mind. In my opinion, it deserves to be ranked first for having the most appetizing food in games. Those active in various public gaming groups or meme channels will have seen the eye-catching scenes where your character sits down by the fire and starts cooking. I'm not exaggerating when I say that dishes look so appetizing that you could almost taste them. I haven't seen dishes presented so closely and juicily or roasting scenes so appetizing in any other game. Just look at how the fat drips of this chicken, or how the aromatic smoke rises straight from the cauldron. You don't need to imagine how you would start eating this juicy steak straight from the fire, because your character will do it for you. You can cook the food for yourself, or have someone else to do it for you, or even have cute kittens do it, as they're just as good with knife as humans are, if not better. This is how the most realistic show begins, where you simply can't help but do the rule. Instead of 1,000 words, just take a look and listen to how it sounds. They cook meat, poultry and soup, and their paws are no obstacle at all. And bro, they even offer you a beer to go with your meal. Like Michelin-starred chefs, they put on a whole cooking show for you, which makes me hungry just writing the script. After seeing all these fragrant flatbreads and treats, you will be eager to have them on your table right away. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Of course, it's a subjective list based on my personal preferences, so if I forgot to add something, please add it in the comments, I will be happy to read them. Well, I'm going to eat after all that. I wish everyone who has watched this far a powerful PC. And bye bye for now!